I want to avoid using the word fancy, but nothing as fancy as you could find in the Free City, but still rather impressive.
Fancy is actually doing the incredibly polite way of insulting them, but like privately to Graham. Basically, that these performers aren't really top tier, and she wouldn't really have thought of hiring them back when she was running her family circus.
Oh, didn't know that she did such things, really. But I mean, they're better than anything he's ever seen before.
Yes.
You don't really have this sort of street level performances in the Elven cities or in the very sort of Nordic culture cities.
Yes,
You'll have to show her sometime what it really is supposed to be then.
Yes, hopefully we can come across one of the great big traveling ones. Ones that I know a few people. Certainly we can see a better quality. I mean, bless their hearts, they are doing their parts. It's just so difficult, of course. I mean, traveling all the time, the food and board is always so unsure, and you're never quite certain day to day what kind of visitors you're going to get or what kind of recompense you'll have. It's tough. It's tough.
How many were there sheep?
How many performers?
Yeah.
Like maybe 6 in total in 3 different groups. Kind of competing, each of them not really being that great, but trying to at least outdo the others.
Well, if they don't know how to get food and such, 6 of them, 3 groups, 2 and 2 then. Because Graham wants to give them some money then to help them along. So.
Aww.
I guess I'll give each of them like 5 gold pieces.
That's an amazing haul. Like they could just like stop working for the day, if not the week.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, one of the groups actually does just that. They take the money and disappear into a tavern. All of them, however, thank you a lot.
Well, Graham will sell them to, that sometimes you deserve a break.
Fancy is very happy and beams with pride at Graham.
Oh. Yeah. Graham likes to make people happy. He gets a lot of enjoyment out of seeing them being happy by something he did. So, yeah, we'll do that. Enjoy it. Sun shining, It's a nice morning. Fresh air. City sounds and such. It's a new place. But once Anrakyn shows up, he'll certainly, turn his attention to him.
Fancy still clinging on to Graham's arm.
In that case, no, I melted into the background for a second. I didn't see myself. Slurp.
Sounds like my dream.
Anrakyn comes
just like no one even knows where Dimezz is right now. Like
No.
he's right behind us, and we just
Don't know. Everyone's too busy looking at Fancy's ring.
Yeah, you see Anrakyn making his way through the crowd, staff and coat flapping behind him. As he sees them, he'll approach. Anrakyn says, "Well, the academy didn't have too much. It is a military academy after all. However, it does seem that the town simply... Well, it is a ghost town, unmarred by combat or anything. It's just that the entire population vanished, presumably overnight."
When you say ghost town, is it like ghost town or?
I was speaking figuratively, but we shouldn't exclude any possibility at this point. The population seemingly got up and just walked out or disappeared. No trace, nothing. And
How?
I don't know. There was also reports of a strange weather phenomenon around the village at some point.
A phenomena what?
Rain that rained upwards.
Fancy looks towards Graham.
Foxen says, I have seen stranger things in my time.
But a whole town, or well, hamlet really, disappearing without a trace is definitely unusual. The area has been left by itself because people are simply scared of it. It might be home to all manner of beasts now, who knows?
Oh.
But it seems to be a juicy target for our curious clown dragon to explore.
Yeah. Fancy, like, looks down at the ground and then with, like, her free hand, like, pantomimes, like, rain coming up. Staring at the hand quizzically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, looks to the performers walking into the tavern. So I suppose we should get going then.
Agreed.
Gil-Galad, she says, like,
We
remembering the name. He's had some business to take care of, maybe to do with the fop that we brought back to Freedom's Hall?
Perhaps. We should go wait for him at the tavern.
Yes, what a silly name.
Taverns or his?
Let's go.
rude.
As I said, it is elven culture. I have in my time met elves that had the names that were much harder to pronounce.
And this is what Gil-Galad hears as we walks in. I've made. He's actually quite normal. All things considered.
So, what did Gil-Galad want to do?
So, first of all, Gil-Galad would make sure that the townkeeper would remember the face of Marcus, just in case he comes back early and wants to deliver some message while we are not here. So, you know, he will inform him that we will probably come back in a couple of days or so. After that, he will go looking for a horse, probably a battle-trained horse, preferably with light colors.
First of all, the barkeep will nod at the request, still kind of glaring at the 5 kegs of ale that have been ordered but never retrieved by anyone. But looks like he'll do it. As for a horse, especially a battle-trained horse, Gil-Galad will quickly find out that Freedom's Hold is perhaps the perfect place to look for exactly that. Surrounded by horse breeders, containing a military academy, if you want the highest quality horse that this entire continent perhaps has to offer, you could buy one at the military academy. It would be slightly more expensive, or you could just buy a normal battle-trained horse from one of the less reputable and more shady-looking people, which may or may not be of the same quality.
Well, better to be safe than sorry, so...
Oh. You know Gil-Galad has that horse breeder background, right?
Yeah.
Do
so
people
he knows.
exclusively ride horses?
In these regions, yes.
We can try to try.
No manticores or griffins.
No goats or buffalo.
Oxygens.
All right, in these regions,
Bison.
normal people ride horses.
Right.
What about in the mountains?
Why
Well,
don't we
that-
go get a manticore?
I mean, manticores, if you want exotic things, exotic creatures and beasts, you would probably want to head to Crimson Peak. They not only let those things fight there, they also put things on other things and then let them fight there.
So it's somewhat
I
useful.
feel like I've been at a place that had like an arena and a manticore before. And had scrap.
So just to note it down, should I pay something extra for the horse, or is it
If you want
trained?
a high-quality official military academy grade horse, that will run you at an extra 20 gold pieces.
Okay. And does it actually have a higher quality I should note down or something?
I mean, do you have a horse breeder background?
No. Not a horse breeder.
The horse breeder will tell you, yes, obviously. The differences are obvious.
I have a horse rider, I suppose. I mean, I would, travel a lot, so horses could be an obvious way to do that.
Well, as far as the merchant is concerned, you made the right choice.
Okay. So hopefully that didn't take long, because I also wanted to visit the Grand Castle Embassy.
Yeah, buying the horse wouldn't have taken too long. Especially if you skimmed out on actually inspecting them. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not looking them at the teeth or anything.
Alright, Grand Castle Embassy.
And I would like to make an official report of, the incidents with all the undead creations, especially in Miretown. And the possibility for that, spreading around the mountains, namely to Grenham, I believe was the name of that village.
Okay.
Now, whether they believe me or not, it's really up to them. I just want to make sure that they, the information is there.
Well, after about an hour or so waiting, you do get a secretary essentially assigned to you that will take your report, but that'll take another couple hours at least.
Okay. Well, once I'm done with all of that, I will return back to find the rest of them.
Elite Warhorse, yes.
I will come up with a name for you later on. So I believe that should be all from my side. Probably gonna leave the horse, pony, something, whatever that is, outside on the stable and not drag it in, the actual tavern. I would probably be somewhat rude, I believe.
I mean, the doors to the taverns and most buildings really would be big enough.
I mean, invite the horse at the table.
There are even really large chairs available, but the barkeep wouldn't probably like it a lot.
Yeah, I would assume so. Plus, they possibly have, the whole stable with, the caretakers and the proper horse, commodities. Maybe.
Yeah, you could hire a spot in one of the stables for little to no money.
All right, well, if we're all back, then I suppose we'll walk in and see Gil-Galad still being... Do we see Dimezz? Where's Dimezz? Like, I have the understanding that he sort of disappears and then appears when you talk about him.
Yeah, no, currently he's in the tavern. He went out for a while, didn't do anything special, and he's back now.
All right. Sure, well. Just we'll walk in.
Dimezz will give a little nod and wave.
So, you two finished with what you wanted to do?
Yes, everything is set up correctly.
There are nods.
I can only hope they believed me and take me seriously, but I did actually go to the embassy and mention of a possible undead plague.
Ah. Oh, good. I suppose we should go and look for this cloud dragon, then. It is some distance away, after all.
All right.
Just a quick question. We haven't gotten a rest, correct?
Yes. No full heal up yet.
Okay.
We've only had 2 battles since the last one.
It's a battle that pony.
Also, Jonas, you have 24 out of 22 hit points.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, I'm slightly hurt.
He is.
But you're-
No, you have.
It's how he writes it.
I
Oh.
have 24 max, and I have 22 currently.
Oh,
How
you. Oh,
Is
okay.
that a problem?
I get it. No, it's just because for
I'll
me
change.
it's upside down.
Oh,
The rest of
okay.
us do it the other way.
Okay, there we go, fixed.
Okay. All right. If you want to look at the world map, I can basically point where the town approximately is. Basically, be here. Ish.
Map, world map, world map. Note that. There we go.
Close, I guess.
Alright.
Yep.
Is that close? Can we travel that far in a day? Yeah.
Yeah, with a brisk walk.
It's
No
like a
problem.
square.
Who's walking?
You won't arrive there before the evening, as currently it's already afternoon. But basically noon the next day, you can be there.
Alright. The
And
briskest of walks, then.
briskest of walks, yeah. Traveling around the small dirt roads, not too difficult. There isn't really anything that costs you. You see the odd village full of farmers doing farmer things. The occasional people traveling around. Some of them even on horseback, not really paying you any attention. As you travel over the lightly forested rolling hills of the area on Freedom's Hold. And eventually, you may or may not notice that you stop seeing people around. Essentially, as you reach the noon of the next day, there aren't any travelers around anymore in this area. Probably a good sign that you're going to the right place. Copy your tokens.
Yeah. Copied.
Okay.
Copied.
Uh-huh.
As I have made a new map visible, I will reveal a picture. Although it might be slightly exaggerated, it sets the mood.
Just like all those birds chirping in the background.
I can't
Speaking
help
of
it.
birds,
Yo, at least my mic is on push to talker. You would have heard about 15 minutes of heavy rain for a minute.
The heaviest of rain.
Yeah,
That would have also set the mood
That would have
if
set
it
the
came
mood.
from the ground.
could have, yeah.
How does
Fine.
upwards rain sound? I don't
God,
know.
this place is desolate.
It sounds like the sound of rain, but reversed.
What?
Like a road.
Yeah.
Mind blown! Mind fucking blown!
You know, it's rare that Graham's picture lightens up the picture.
I haven't seen anything yet, sadly.
I could, like, move further down into the blackness so I don't ruin the surprise.
so we don't see
Surprise,
any
alright.
humans, but we do see animals, or more like hear them, I suppose. Right?
I don't see anything yet. But that's just because I'm loading.
It's not like everything is dead and gone, right?
Yeah.
An observant eye might see the occasional rabbit and such, but it's not teeming with life to the point where it's overflowing with wild boars or anything.
Yeah.
This is not like. This is more like.
Probably hear birds more likely or something like that.
It's not very glamorous at all.
Oh my.
Still loading. Have no idea what you guys are talking
The reason
about.
people don't live here is because
this.
who would? Yeah.
Yeah. I would live here. Oof.
Even on a sunny and less cold day, this place wouldn't look great.
I didn't even know it was snowing.
It's not. It's a black and white image. That's not.
I know, and that's where you tell me it's not snowing.
What? Okay, there we go. Find it.
But what you see in this village here is essentially a nature versus village for a couple decades. Not really any signs of battle or intentional destruction, but certainly just abandoned things slowly falling apart. Especially since these buildings are not out of the sturdy brick that Grand Castle and such are, but rather just wood.
So, if Anrakyn would quest out with his magical senses, would he be able to pick something up here? Like, is there actually magic around?
Why don't you give me a magic skill check?
Sure. I shall.
I think your magical background is appropriate for this.
That's a 28.
Faint, perhaps? Very old? Perhaps familiar, but not... It's hard to tell where it's coming from. There is something wrong about this place. Anrakyn thinks that for sure.
Alright.
But whether any connections his mind might make are just figments of his imagination or actually there, that's hard to determine.
Alright. Yeah, you'll see him close his eyes, reach out a hand, sort of questing in the air in front of him. Maybe some soft lights around him as he concentrates, and then he opens up his eyes. Lights vanish, and he looks at them and says, "There is definitely something wrong with this place, but whatever. There is something here. There is a trace of magic, very old, but must have been incredibly powerful if it lingers this long."
Fancy looks down at the ground, expecting water to come up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, well, Anrakyn looks around and says to the others, "I suppose we should start our search. He might be in one of the houses or close by. We should probably check them."
Graham, how big is he?
I will sort of show with his hands how big the cloud dragon was. Could be the size of a dog or something.
Oh, he's tiny then.
He was pretty small. Basically Dimezz size, maybe a bit bigger.
What?
Oh, that's adorable!
New mount.
I just want to hug him forever.
He did have a lot of volume to him, but that was mostly feathers.
Fancy frowns. I had hoped he was anything. I suppose. Is he? What color is he?
Glad it's not snowing. It was like white.
All right. Fancy looks around. Suppose that will be easy to find. Any of you good with tracks?
Well, I could have a look around.
He flies.
Yeah, well, he might not fly all the time, like if he landed in the village somewhere. He might have rested at some point and laid down.
I would mostly
True.
be looking for signs of conflict rather than tracks.
There are not that many houses in this village. Taking a look through each of them should.
It also might do to see whether anyone or anything is actually laired up here. Wouldn't want to disturb anything.
Hmm.
There's a bear in there. She has a right to her home too, you know.
We
Perhaps,
shall
but we are
be-
not gonna let it kill us.
We shall be on trying to be as gentle as possible, but we still need to find. I suppose look for white feathers. He sort of frowns looking around. And then starts moving to the closest house. It's time to start this investigation.
All
Graham will
right.
go with Anrakyn. You know, he doesn't have a better plan. He's not like a dragon hunter. Well, I mean, some of that, but they usually came to us back then. Wasn't really so much tracking down people.
Right. Each of you give me a look for clues in the village skill check with a background appropriate to whatever you might be looking for.
Haha. Well,
All right. Oh, sorry. You go first.
Oh, okay. Dimezz will look for any kind of, like... Well, I guess it's not handy to look for papers when we're looking for a dragon in an abandoned town. But, you know, he's a spy for hire. He's good at catching small clues that other people might not notice, so he'll go along and look at, like, small details in places where the others have already been, and see if he'll catch anything extra.
Okay, and what background would you use?
The spy for hire one. Since he's good at noticing little clues.
I think I'd give you half of that.
Okay. Let's see. Okay.
Dimezz might be good at noticing small clues, but this might not be the environment he's really used to.
It's true. And then should I use wisdom, you think?
Yeah,
That's-
wisdom. Sure. If you're looking, wisdom sounds good. Alright. Next one.
Well, Graham is a bringer of the old and dead, which nominates his going into old ruins and flooded temples and whatnot to do work that other people simply can't. So he's certainly worked in ruined buildings before. He will use some of his experience in this field to basically go into buildings, find the places that other people wouldn't really be able to go to, like say a semi-collapsed basement or other places that a little dragon might find it super interesting to investigate and then get stuck. And he will use his strength to basically clear that path so that someone his size can go in there and then, yeah, go and check out those places.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anrakyn will try to scout after the old, like he's interested in this magical effect that seems to sort of linger. So he will try to again follow the trail, so to speak. Maybe find the center of it, or like basically he's walking around questing with his magical senses, trying to pick up like if there is a center to the old magics around here.
Okay, that sounds like the exact same skill check as before, essentially. Same bonuses.
Yep.
So Gil-Galad is gonna... I would like to apply, I guess, my guard of in the order of 10, as his training would probably cover, picking up the stuff that don't really, stick to what you would expect to find there, like probably an abandoned village with mostly looking for sites of combat taking place there, like perhaps burned places or scratches on, the wood or surfaces in general.
Alright, I think the background is okay.
Okay.
Fancy is... Go ahead.
Do I apply any stat? Maybe wisdom, for example?
Yeah, it would be wisdom if you're looking around.
Well, that sorted that out.
Fancy is completely out of her element. She's used to traveling with other people, like hirelings. She goes from village to village or whatever she does. She also hasn't been traveling for very long. She has been primarily in city life. So looking at the abandoned village, her brain is filling with all kinds of
superstition. And she keeps looking at the ground. So while everyone goes to this wonderful thing of like, oh, let's find clues and everything, what she's gonna be doing is ransacking her own brain with like her religious lore foundation to think of like, is there something significant I should remember about if rain comes from the ground and flies up into the sky? That means that this is an unholy sight, and you should stay away from this. Of course, you didn't thinking about this now, until now, but seeing this. So instead of looking for anyone, she's going to basically like quiz her own brain using her religious lore background and her intelligence of 10 to see if she can recall anything significant about that phenomenon.
Okay, sure, go for it.
Sure.
Let's start with fancier then. She can't pinpoint exactly what this might mean, although there's plenty of religious interpretations of all kinds of weather phenomena. And usually the weird ones are connected to something bad, and that's about all she can think of. As for Gil-Galad looking around for signs of combat and other things, he doesn't really find any like scorch marks or scratches that might come from combat. There are certainly scratches of just animals having scratched something for whatever animal reason they had at the time. Mm-hmm. What he does, however, find are the occasional, reasonably large white feather. Dirty to the point where they aren't really white anymore and hard to spot, but there are a couple, mostly in rather narrow places where there's a lot of fallen over wood and such. He would think that this might be simply the result of a feathered creature kind of squeezing itself in there and losing a feather or two. It's not really something that would hurt it, but it happens and it's a bit inconvenient. Specifically, he doesn't only find these feathers in like the crumbling attics and the interiors of the houses, but also a couple lodged inside of the well, some distance down. And those ones looked far fresher than the others.
Okay. Gil-Galad is obviously gonna point this out to everyone and try to get their attention. Basically saying that I believe he has gone down the well for whatever reason. Perhaps willingly, perhaps not. He may still be there, and that is certainly a very dangerous place to be. He's gonna look down the well. How dark is it?
It's pretty dark and pretty deep. The well isn't just a hole that's been dug. It's a proper hole encased in, or like the wall of which is from rough cobblestones essentially, so the entire thing doesn't just collapse into itself. And it looks pretty damn deep.
Well, perhaps it's time I make use of the new rope I have. After someone cut my old one. And he's gonna proceed, throwing some rope down the well and tying up the rest of it anywhere he can, have a good grip around.
It reminds of old times. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
We used to do this sort of thing. Find elven artifacts.
As for the others, Anrakyn questing for the source can really only just detect the presence and doesn't gain any further information on whatever aura might linger here.
Yeah. Well, the reason that Graham does so badly with doing what he does is because he sees what Gil-Galad is doing, and chooses instead to go and help with tying the rope and preparing to climb into the well, because if anyone's going to do that, that's probably going to be him.
Probably a good choice.
I mean, worst that can happen is I get really wet. So...
Well, that's not the worst. Yeah.
He's like a monster down there.
It could be anything.
You remember
Maybe
last
Adeline
time?
hopped down first.
You remember what happened last time we went into a water hole?
Eels.
A hideous aboleth monster.
Who became our best friend, so I wouldn't even talk shit.
He was
That's very nice.
he was a fucking menace to the world and needed to be
It was a
destroyed.
comm system at the end. Could have done without him. I guess when Gil-Galad is done, Graham will climb down the well.
Alright, climbing into the deep, dark well with no light whatsoever.
Question: do you alert the rest of the group that you're doing this?
Sure.
Well, I have already tried to alert everybody to, to the very real possibility of Cloud Dragon, whose name I always forget for some reason.
Cloudy.
Fresh feathers in the well.
Cloudy.
Cloudy the dragon.
I would ask Anrakyn to perhaps make a light follow him, if that's possible.
Might be.
Okay.
I don't think I can put a light on like a coin or something and give it to Graham and he can stick it wherever he needs it.
Just like put it on my. I got an amulet. Could put on there.
Sure. The sickly ghost light of Anrakyn floats around it.
Such a nice aesthetic for me.
Slowly oscillating between, like almost as if it is breathing between different spectrums of light.
Nice.
Remembering the warning, something might be down there. Anrakyn will, Graham will send the Edling down first. That seems like
Alright.
Just drop him down. Like,
Well, I mean, probably like tell him to climb down the rope. We'll see how good he is at it, but whatever
Yeah,
happens,
let's-
is sure warn me.
Let's
sometime.
see how good the Edeling is at climbing down a rope. Give me a skill check for the Edeling. He does not get his level to the bonus, and I don't think
He
he
doesn't
has a
have
strength
any
score.
stats of any kind because he's an
So-
NPC.
Yeah, so give me the D20.
Right.
He makes it down perhaps some distance, but then slips and falls quite a distance, enough to essentially destroy him.
Oh well.
Ouch.
Graham will go down.
All right, give me a check as well.
All right. Well, it's a holy thing of Gil. He has had to climb many a mountain, and there's really nothing new about it. As a bringer of the old and dead, he's also had to climb into many a wet, dirty place that other people can't go because it's full of icy cold water or poison or plague or whatever else that might not bother him but bother everyone else. So this is really sort of what he does. They're both 4, so it doesn't really matter which one I use.
Okay.
Strength, I assume.
Yes.
So did he make a splash sound?
So if
No,
it died, that it was like a.
unless he really wants to make a splash sound. Although he will very quickly find that at the bottom, quite some distance down, the rope is fortunately long enough though, the wall of the hole basically has crumbled. And it seems that the cobblestone bricks that have been making sure that the sides don't, collapse, did in fact collapse inside the hole. So that's very hard to explain what the hell happened.
They
It looks-
collapsed outwards.
Inwards, in fact. It looks as if something had collided from the outside of that tunnel with the tunnel knocking the rocks into the hole. And inside that collapsed part where the cobblestones are now missing, seems to be some sort of natural cave.
Well, he's at the bottom now. Is there like, can he stand here? Is it full of water? Like,
There isn't really much water. The water is probably below the crumbled pieces of cobblestone. It's basically at the bottom. There's just cobblestones spread all over the place.
oh, he'll take his hand over the shattered thing and reform it, pulling it back together, so he doesn't have to be alone down here. And he'll look up. You can probably see the light up there.
Yeah.
He'll like raise the amulet, kind of like a holy symbol shining with a sickly light, and like shine it around so they can see basically what's down here. Does he see any feathers?
Give me an awareness skill check.
All right. Well, the background I would use then would be bringing up the old and dead, because he's explored again many an underground, wet, shitty ruin. For certain things, be it gold or feathers or bones or whatever.
Okay. There are feathers here. There is another large-ish white feather lodged into in between two rocks, dirty and wet, although still rather white, fresh perhaps. There are also some other kinds of feathers lodged here and there, very, very few, but enough for Graham to notice. Small black ones.
Look, is the tunnel big enough to stand in?
Yes.
Or is it like...
the
Alright,
collapsed?
so that's a pretty big tunnel.
The collapsed hole itself is enough to squeeze through without too much effort, but the natural cave formation beyond is large enough to stand in without any kind of trouble.
I'll call up to the others and says, it looks like you went this way. There's a natural cave formation.
All right. Well,
How hard does it look to, climb down the rope?
Not that difficult, although the walls of the well are somewhat slippery and brittle.
would it be
Shouldn't be too
dexterity or strength?
Probably strength, unless you explain to me how your agility helps you climbing down a rope.
No, well,
Fireman slide.
yeah, exactly. All right, let's go. Yes.
Anrakyn makes it down, no problem.
He's used to this. He's been in many tombs and dank, dark places. He slides down proficiently.
Let's see. About all of this.
It's fine, we'll catch you.
Very bad.
Right, Graham?
It's not like any of us like Prussian spike helmets, so...
That's right.
Graham will like go a little, like squeeze through the hole into the cave formation and take a look around there. Also, not to be like at the bottom while everyone's climbing down the well. It's probably not made for like people to hang out in. So
It doesn't seem artificial.
this will give more room for people to climb down. And if they fall, he's not in the way to get hurt.
So could I use my wisdom to kind of catch the rope and tie it around my wrist, I guess, in a way that I can kind of easily lower myself, kind of make almost like a noose, put that around me basically, and kind of have it hold my back almost, and kind of like how the climbing gear works basically, right?
I don't think.
Climbing gear has two ropes, so it's like a pulley system.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think
Compelling.
using your wisdom for this makes sense. You would need a background, a climbing background, essentially.
Well, I didn't pick it up this time. So. Okay, let's go for the strength. Probably not that.
Yeah, Gil-Galad makes it down, no problem.
Okay, good.
It's not that difficult of a climb.
Mhm. I will leave the horse near the well, by the way.
Well, I don't think I have any backgrounds that would apply. But I could use Dex probably. Just being kind of nimble, and if I slip, I can grab and catch myself quickly. Kind of slowly shimmying down.
If you want to use Dex, you have to give me a very good description why your agility helps you climbing down the rope.
Well, the only thing I can think of is that I fall and then catch myself about 6 times. So, yeah, I'll just go with strength then. Oh dear.
Alright, give me a dexterity-based skill check to catch yourself again. You do fall, you do bump your head quite significantly, but...
do you think that my cat burglar background could apply then to catch myself?
Yeah,
kind of
sure.
running around on rooftops and stuff like that. To get used to being in situations like this.
Yeah, sure. You do fall, you do bump your head, but you manage to catch yourself and do eventually make it to the bottom. Dimezz does, however, take a grand total of 7 points of damage.
Ow.
And fancy.
Maybe muted.
Maybe. Did he... Grimith? Up.
Well, let's someone find the disc with the elevated music. I'll go get the CD player.
So
I'm sure
Dimezz,
Fancy
you
with
want
her
me
like
to-
with her circus background can climb a rope. Like
That's
probably.
considering the time, this might be a good spot to take a quick 5-minute break to see if he comes back during that time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, the classic cave underneath the well. This is exciting. What horrible creatures will be down here? What do you think?
Cockroaches.
Animated almanac.
Mm-hmm. Would it be slimy or skeletal?
Well, it's below a well, so slimy is probably a good bet.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, they build a well here, which means that there, at least at some point, was groundwater up to this level. So we can't really expect the cave to go down a lot, unless it was, like, flooded for most of this time. If so, then I'm curious to see what drained it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
What
And something
released
did
itself?
cross the wall, right? So something had the strength to actually do that.
I guess, Sheep, if you're still here, I can ask you then, what kind of wall is it here? Is it like pure stone?
Keep that question in mind until we stop the break and ask again. As for the depth of the well itself does go down deeper, but this is how far up the collapsing rock has essentially filled it up.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Interesting.
Just digging well in like solid granite is like. I don't think they would. And hoping you found groundwater down there too is pretty bad. Yes.
There were some black feathers.
Hmm.
So there is that.
Maybe a tengu.
Maybe an indication of something.
Well, yeah, but what? I mean, black feathers. Not a lot to go on.
I mean, we could look them over. Maybe,
I thought it would be something
some characters
like
would know something.
Did we see any crows ever?
There are no crows in the desert.
I don't know. You're telling me that. But I'm not believing you.
Ravens. That's the thing, right? One-eyed ravens and stuff. Wolves and yeah. 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 I'm glad to see that my my luck with skill checks generally continues. I did have 15, so that's nice.
Well, you've just ruined it.
What?
Yeah. You jinxed it.
No, I was sarcastic. I'm never ever lucky with skill checks in the system. I had a wizard. I don't think I ever did a successful ritual. Just worst. Good thing we failed forward.
Mm. So, Jake, do you think we should, use a healing on that wound? Or should we wait for a
No,
little
I'll
bit
be
more
alright.
damage? I mean, 7 hit points is not
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah, we can wait.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, how bad can it be down here?
Well, TPK.
Let's not go.
Incoming.
The black feather's probably just something that ate ravens, right?
Yeah, sure.
Sure, it's just a snake or something. Probably Hydra.
Hydra down here.
Yeah.
Like hangs out, waits for a bird to fly down the well.
Well, to be fair, it's probably something magical in order to, make the rain go upside down and these sudden
That's down
disappearances.
here?
It may be related. So, I'm betting on something magical.
Alright, I'm back.
No, come on.
Come back.
Has Grimith returned yet?
Not as far as we can tell.